Well, opening night is in the books, and it wasn't a very good one for the Avalanche. Although there were some big positives from Wednesday night's game in Vegas, like Mikko Rantanen's hat trick, there are definitely some massive concerns for the Avs faithful. There were multiple defensive lapses, a lot of guys that just didn't really look like they cared to be there, and some atrocious puck movement at times. However, it's one game, and these are all things that can easily be fixed. With that being said, there was one other problem Wednesday night that isn't necessarily new to the Avs organization and something that I don't think they can just fix with the snap of their finger, and that's the goaltending. Obviously, everyone knows that Alexander Georgiev isn't exactly a Vezina-level goalie, but I really thought that with him being in a contract year, he would step up in a massive way, similar to the way he played in his first season with Colorado. However, he was absolutely brutal against the Knights. Georgiev gave up 5 goals on just 16 shots, putting up a .688 save percentage. It wasn't just the fact that he gave up 5 tucks in 40 minutes either, but it was how and when he gave them up. Every time Colorado would score to get back in the game, Vegas would have an answer right away, killing any momentum that the Avalanche had gained from the goal. After all 4 goals that the Avalanche scored, Vegas responded with their own in less than at least 2 minutes. Because of Georgiev's poor performance, Justus Annunen was brought in for the third period, but he was even worse, giving up 2 goals on 4 shots, giving him just a .50 save percentage. Don't get me wrong, it's tough to come in 40 minutes into the game, but Juice has just got to be better than that. He's a backup goalie. That's what he's supposed to do. When asked about the goaltending, Jared Bednar told the media that it was not good enough. He also mentioned that the quick Vegas responses were an absolute killer to the Avs' momentum. Mikko Rantanen, who did have an absolutely fantastic game, hat trick and all, great game from Mikko, told reporters that he felt like if they fell asleep even in the slightest, it was going in the back of the net. I don't know if that was meant to call out the goalies, but to me, it sounds as though he was not very happy with the netminder's performance on opening night, which he shouldn't be. Looking at some of these goals shows just how bad it really was. Let's look at the first one, right here. Mikko Rantanen just scored to give Colorado a 1-0 lead. However, Victor Olofsson is able to spin off of Calvin DeHaan, then ripping the puck from the outside of the bottom of the circle. Now, give credit to Olofsson, as this was a perfectly placed shot, but there is no reason Georgiev should be going down so early, leaving that top corner wide open. Now, the second goal isn't completely on him, as Barbashev is able to get lost right in the slot. McKinnon gets lost in his own zone, and Rantanen doesn't really recognize it until it's too late. This allows Barbashev to slide right behind the defense. This puts Georgie in a tough spot, but he's unable to even get set up and to square up with Barbashev to make the stop. He's put in a tough position, but he just doesn't even give himself a chance. Later, Rantanen's able to nab another power play goal and to make it a 1-goal game. However, just over a minute later, Zach Whitecloud's able to rip one right by Georgiev to take away any momentum gained by the Avs. Although Manson does provide a bit of a screen, this puck still has to be stopped. We can't have shots beating our goalies clean from the opposing defenseman. The 5th goal was the worst one given up by Georgiev in my opinion. It all starts with the whiff clearing attempt from Cale Makar, which can't happen, especially from one of our star players. But similar to the last, Colorado had just gotten a goal from Casey Middlestat to get back in the game. But then Miles Wood gives Vegas a power play. Again, another dumb play. Miles Wood takes a dumb penalty, but Olofsson would strike again. And again, give him credit as he places the shot perfectly, but Georgiev barely even seems to move, and it just zips right past his left shoulder. This is just unexcusable from Georgie, especially with just 13 seconds left in the period. If we get to the end of the period, we're still well in the game. There is no screen and just not even really an attempt to stop the puck. He just completely looks uninterested. It's just unacceptable. After the second intermission, Justus Annunen got his chance. Rantanen would complete his hat trick 7 minutes into the third, but of course, a minute and a half later, Annunen would give another one up. Now, I don't blame him too much, as Stone got a tip on it, making it pretty impossible to track, but sometimes in a game like this, you just need your goalie to make a save. Every game, at some point, you're going to need a save that he probably shouldn't make, and he just didn't make this. However, I would put this more on Girard, as he just kind of loses Stone, who really, I would say, is his guy right off the draw, leaving him all alone in front of the net. Kind of just an overall breakdown on this one, but you still just need a save every now and then. Now, on the last goal, Girard once again shows how unreliable he is defensively, as Barbashev goes right through him, which just can't happen. I mean, it's unacceptable. But then rips a backhander right past Annunen off the rush. Again, definitely not a good defensive play, not helping out Annunen at all, but there's just no excuse as to why this should get past Juice. Just no excuse. That's got to get stopped every time. Now, don't get me wrong, our defensive structure didn't help these two out at all. We were soft all night and failed to win a lot of puck battles, allowing some very high danger chances. I'm not saying that I expect Georgie and Juice to save every single one of these, but if you're going to be a competitive team, you need your goalie to make a save here and there, and ours just didn't. Our expected goals against was 2, and we gave up 7. Just unacceptable. We have to play better in front of them, no doubt about it, absolutely none. But we also have to be able to rely on them to make a clutch save for us here and there, or this is going to be a really long season. They don't need to make every single save. We're not paying them $11 million. We're not expecting them to make every single one. But here and there, they have to save a puck. They just have to. Hopefully everyone can get dialed in before returning home for the game against Columbus, both defensively and in net. If we can fix a few things up in our defensive zone and our goalies can make the saves they need to, we're going to be a dangerous team. But this absolutely has to be addressed by the Avs. I don't think it's time to trade Georgiev yet. Give him a little bit of time. Let him settle in for the season. But if we get to December and we're seeing the same old, it's time to trade and go get somebody that can win us a Stanley Cup, because this just isn't going to get it done. But with that being said, not a very positive video today, but just one that I think had to be made. It's unfortunate. We have this talk a lot, and it seems like every time he goes through a rough stint, Georgiev does respond with a nice little, 5 or 6 game stretch of excellent goaltending, but we'll have to see how it all plays out. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I will see you in the next one.